Keep it simple. Make sure you're hinging through the correct joints, isolating the main muscle group, smart programming, do them towards the end. You don't necessarily need a whole day on arms. They're small muscle groups. If you train them within the other bigger muscle groups, you can increase your frequency, you can increase your growth, especially as a natural athlete. All right, guys, welcome back to another exercise explained, and today we're talking about biceps. Yes, a bit of curls for the girls, the big guns, Des and Troy, whatever you want to call them. Have you got a license for these things? So last time we talked about glutes, really popular with the female side of things. Now we're talking about arms, which is generally more prevalent. I don't want to be biased here, but generally more prevalent with the guys. So again, it's a simple exercise. It's a very small muscle group, one of the smallest, but it gets overtrained, and oftentimes still it's underdeveloped, or people are very out of symmetry with what they're doing. And then once again, I see a lot of problems with this movement. So if you're programming correctly, first and foremost, you should have a lot of these pulling and pushing movements throughout your program to develop these smaller muscle groups anyway. And then when we go to finish these off, if our goal is, well, yeah, I'm giving people a shower here, physique sports, and we want to develop the muscles for aesthetic purposes, then we want to focus on doing the more isolation, single joint movements. So when we look at the biceps, there's two parts, hence the name bicep, opposite tricep, try 3 by 2, right? So what we're going to do here, it doesn't matter if we're using a easy bar like this, so a natural curve and a bend in it, a barbell, a dumbbell, any implement. The main thing is that we're hinging from the elbow. Now, a lot of the mistakes come from the point of swinging weight, using the back, and using too much of the shoulder in this movement. Now again, we're trying to isolate the bicep. So by changing the grip, we can activate the inner or the outer head. So once again, this doesn't have to be overcomplicated. We don't need to make up bicep exercises, lying down behind our back, curling it. Stick to the basics. When you advance, you can start to put in some more extreme, or should I say, not extreme, but more advanced, more nuanced variations. But in the early days, guys, keep it simple. If you're doing a lot of pulling, if you're doing the deadlifts, if you're doing heavy rows, you're using your biceps. You only need a little bit more to finish them off. And again, smart programming. Okay, so if we're gonna do a bicep, how does it look? Well, whether we're using a barbell or an easy bar in this demonstration, we wanna think about having the thumbs over. We can have them out of it, which will take out a little bit of forearm, but in the early days, let's wrap our thumbs and break the bar. The shoulder blades are back and down, so we want them retracted and depressed. We don't want to be arched, and we don't want to be rounded. And again, no one talks about the base of support, so let's have our feet shoulder width. Why stand like this and make it harder when it's hard enough? Why don't we increase the base of support, create more stability so we can lift more weight, or at least get more reps with quality form. From here, keep the glutes on. Yes, believe it or not, the rib cage over the pelvis. Again, the small things or the big things trickle down into the small things, and we want to create stability. So squeeze the glutes. We've got a weight in front of us. That lower back's going to want to take over. From there, we almost want to think about jamming our elbows by our sides. We don't want to have them too far back. We don't want to have them roll forward. By our sides, if anything, slightly forward. From here, we want to think about bringing the palm towards the shoulder. So from this position, we're trying to do this. What will happen, or what you'll want to do initially, is you'll want to do this. You'll want to curl in what I call motorbike wrists. And then you're just going to be flexing into the forearm, or advertently, you're going to want to do this. And you're going to want to hinge from the shoulder all the way up. So again, we want to have as little shoulder movement as possible. Keep the elbows wedged in. Think of a bar coming through to keep them in. If you put a bar straight across your body, you can only move now from here. I'm thinking about bringing the palm. It should be impossible to get that to touch there unless you bend that wrist. You've got some real extreme flexibility. So from this position, again, shoulder width, hips, glutes, and core. The neck is tucked. We're not here, or looking around. We're squeezing the bar, and we're trying to bring the palms towards the top of the shoulder. Stretch all the way down, as long as it's comfortable, and then squeeze all the way up. Stretch all the way down, squeeze all the way up, and control the descent. Again, if you want more out of it, control the descent. Don't use gravity. Really squeeze and get a peak contraction on the way up. If you're just swinging the bar, you're not utilizing the muscle, you're not getting the most out of the exercise. Now, if we move to dumbbells, it's the same principle. We've got different variations. So from here, same thing. Have a good stance, whether you're seated, whether you're upright, whether you're using a back support, stability is key. From this position, we could do, say, a bicep curl as if we were doing it with the bar. but obviously with dumbbells, so it's a little bit harder. Bilaterally, rather than we can do a unilateral where we can go back to hammer grip and then do a curl all the way up, back down, opposite sides. Again, guys, there is so many bicep variations, but as I said at the start, keep it simple. Make sure you're hinging through the correct joints, isolating the main muscle group, smart programming, do them towards the end. You don't necessarily need a whole day on arms. They're small muscle groups. If you train them within the other bigger muscle groups, you can increase your frequency, you can increase your growth, especially as a natural athlete. Guys, as ever, if you like this video, make sure to share it around. Tell me what you like, tell me what you want to see next. If you want to see more of these exercise explained, check them out in my highlight reel. And as ever, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.